Now, this is a slide wherein we have brought all the contracts which we have studied in the enforceability topic, and we have listed them down, and we have tried to bring out the result as to if the contract is valid or it is voidable or it is void. So let's start. Our first topic was intention to create a legal relationship. If intention to create a legal relationship is absent, we do not have any contract at place. This only remains an agreement. It never reaches a stage of becoming a contract. Next, under the heading lawful consideration and lawful object, we did contracts which are immoral. Immoral contracts are void. Contracts causing injury to person or property, they are also void. Contracts which defeat provisions of law are void. Contracts which involve cheating or are fraudulent, again void. Contracts forbidden by law are also void. Contracts which defeat the rule in force are also void. Agreements opposed to public policy generally are void, and following are the agreements which were covered under the heading agreements opposed to public policy. First was trading with enemy, it is void. Stifling prosecution, void. Sanctity and maintenance, void. Now again here sanctity is void, maintenance is valid. Again it is left to the discretion of the court. Interference with the course of justice is void. Marriage brokerage contracts, void. Interest against obligation, wherein you have a vested interest in not performing your duty, and if you enter into such contracts wherein you do not perform your duty and you get something in return for that, such a contract is also void. Sale of public offices, you cannot sell public offices. Trafficking in public offices is void. Agreement for the creation of monopolies is also void. Agreement in restraint of marriage is void. Agreement in restraint of trade is void. Agreement in restraint of legal proceedings is void. Then we came under the heading capacity to contract. We said minor does not have the capacity to contract, persons of unsound mind do not have the capacity to contract, and disqualified persons do not have the capacity to contract. A minor's contract is void ab initio. This is very important. Many times this is asked in the exams. A contract with minor is void ab initio. Contract with persons of unsound mind is void. Contract with disqualified persons is void. Then we came to free consent. We said when there is coercion, when there is undue influence, when there is fraud or misrepresentation or mistake, we say that free consent is absent. And when coercion is there, the contract becomes voidable. Undue influence, voidable. Fraud, voidable. Misrepresentation, voidable. Mistake, void. However, it is void only in case of bilateral mistake. Unilateral mistake, the contract remains valid. And finally, we did agreement expressly declared as void. If the consideration, if the contract has two parts, one is lawful, the other is unlawful, the lawful contract will remain valid, the unlawful part will become void. And if the contract cannot be segregated into lawful and unlawful, the whole contract will become void. If the meaning is uncertain, contract is void. If it is a contract of wagering, the contract is void. So with this, we have listed down the various headings and the various contracts under those headings and what is the result of those contracts. How are those contracts in law. One more thing I would like to bring to your notice here is, if you remember, we had created acronym or mnemonic uh, to make it easy for you to remember under the topic lawful consideration and lawful object. The 7 agreements that have unlawful object or unlawful consideration come with the mnemonic Italy is popular for fresh rounded pizza. Again, in the agreements opposed to public policy, we had the acronym MMS, soccer 3. 3 was for this R.